Hello.
Are you
I
talking
think we're
to me or
live.
the audience?
Hello.
Okay, we're live.
Yes, we are. Welcome to FAQin Hell.
I'm so excited. We have a lot of awesome questions that we're going to be going over. But this is awesome. I'm so excited to be with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing it.
Yeah, totally.
Actually, a few fans asked me the other day. They were like, "Why? How come you're doing it with Joey?" And I've noticed in the past that you tweet me sometimes,
Oh
and
my
that
God,
you're.
I treat you like I'm obsessed with you. You were seriously my favorite.
um, so it's a pleasure for you to be helping me host
Like,
this. Um,
hold on,
we
let me put headphones in. I'm getting a delay.
Don't worry. So just for the fans out there watching, I've
Sorry
been
about that.
selecting some questions off Twitter today and last week. So we've sent them over to Joey, and he's going to ask them now.
Oh, I'm so stupid. I had it open in another window, so I was hearing myself.
It's all right. It's all right.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So I don't know what the first question is, but go for it.
Okay, let's take a look, see. All right, so the first question comes from Kayla, and she says, I know you're going to be doing a world tour, but when will you be coming to Sydney, Australia, particularly?
Um, Kayla, I don't know, um, because the way that tours work is that promoters approach you and they book you. So you can't just go like, "Hey, field day, can I play?" So usually that's how it happens. But I really hope to come, and I'm pretty certain that I will. But it should be the beginning of next year, so January 2016.
Ooh, exciting.
Mm.
Okay, so Kelly wants to know who was the last artist you saw live in concert?
The last artists were called Clean Bandit, and they played in London on Friday night. It was a huge gig. It was really cool. I'm a big fan.
Cool. Um, oh crap, I'm gonna butcher these names. I'm so bad at
Right.
pronouncing
Don't worry.
names.
I mean, to be honest, poor Diamonds on the last Fucking Hell, I didn't even go into names because I had no time. But
I'm
do your
gonna,
best.
okay, it's Yayani. It's
Hmm.
Yvonne.
Okay.
Um, and it's what happened to that song that you posted a clip of on Instagram with the Mickey phone?
Hmm. So a lot of you have asked this question. It's actually the middle eight from a song called "I'm Not Hungry Anymore." And this was one of the 14 songs that I recorded for Froot. And the reason that it didn't make it on there was actually not because it wasn't good. I love the song, but it just wasn't quite right. And I really wanted to just have 12 songs, so I had to be very strict.
Mm.
The thing that wasn't right with the song was the production. So actually, what you've heard is not representative of the whole song. But what I'm thinking of doing is if I do a repackage of Fruit and I write some more songs for it, I might develop that middle eight into a completely different song. I'm not really meant to say this as a songwriter, but that's what we all fucking do. Sometimes you take a little bit from one song and then you turn it into something completely different if it hasn't worked in the previous song. So watch this space. David Costin and I will perhaps work on it. I hope we do because it's worth it.
Wait, so you might re-release your album with new songs?
Well, I'm kind of, yeah, I am playing with the idea because I've never actually done a repackage and I haven't done a deluxe version of Fruit either because I was being very purist about things. I
Yeah.
wanted there to be only one version. So, um, I don't know, perhaps around, well, actually, I don't want to say dates, but sometime this year I might do repackage, but I haven't written the songs yet, so that it all depends on that. If they're
Right.
good, then yes, I will do it.
Well, I think you definitely should. I always hate when there's that period of time between your albums, so I'm sure everyone will be excited about that. Okay, next question is from another name that's hard to pronounce,
Don't worry.
Joa.
Okay.
It's when did you start to write the lyrics of Fruit tracks? And which were your first inspirations?
I started to write the lyrics 2012, and my first inspirations actually they were kind of they were just inspired about how I was feeling at that time in my life, and though it wasn't anything to do with Electra Heart the album, it was the period of my life where I was going through that, and because it was so conceptual and such an extreme experience, the emotions and you know the experiences that I had as a result of that were very I don't know, they really influenced me, and they influenced how I felt about myself and how I felt about my future. So it mainly drew from that chapter, yeah.
Cool. Um, okay, so this is from, oh my gosh, Haley CY on Smoke. What? Oh wait, no, that's the same question as before, the Mickey Mouse phone snippet. Okay, so Juan Nugget wants to know what has been your favorite fruit experience so far?
Actually, my favorite experience is just the fans, actually, the fan interaction, and how this campaign has very much been a thing where it has felt very equal in terms of what I have put into it and what fans have. It's very, very special experience that unless unless you've been part of it, I don't know if you would understand it and understand like the passion that people have given me for it. So it's been wonderful because I come from a pop background, musically speaking, and chart wise as well. And I've chosen to do an album which has kind of um, been very open about the fact that I'm not following that route anymore. And it's not that I condemn that route or don't want it. It's more just that I'm not trying to achieve that. And so with Fruit, I've still managed to do what I want to do, but on my own terms, which is really hard. And it's taken me 3 albums to get to this point. So
I
that's
think
my
that's
favorite Fruit.
awesome. That's really cool that you had so much control. I think that's really awesome.
Thank you.
Um, okay, next question is from Fruity Savage. What do you think about how people are saying better than that is slut shaming? I know it isn't I love you in brackets.
Actually, I picked this question because I was interested at whether that is a rumor that people think I am slut shaming. I think that question is probably a result of two people on the internet saying that. However, just in case it is a rumor, it's not about slut shaming at all. Hence, my lyric in the middle eight says, "I'm not passing judgment on her sexual life." This is about somebody who was never very nice to me, and though now when I look back on the song and even what it was about, I don't feel anything. I'm just like, oh God, I feel for that girl, and that's it. At the time, I felt really passionate and felt very hurt. So it's definitely not about slut shaming. It's more just about someone who didn't treat people very well in general and didn't treat a lot of people in my social circle well. So that's what inspired me to write a song about it.
Do you get a lot of that, people interpreting your songs like totally off of what they actually are?
Occasionally, but not too often.
Okay. Um, okay. Electra Harding wants to know what were you like in school?
I was kind. I mean, character-wise, I was kind of like I am now in terms of I wasn't introverted per se, but I was only kind of um, like kind of loud and open and kind of how I am now. It around the people that I knew. So I did like school, but I felt like I think the main difference between now and then was then. If someone had said something mean to me or it was like being cruel, I probably wouldn't have ever said anything back because I just didn't do that. I was probably a bit too nice. Whereas now, FAQin end them.
Wallacombe wants to know, have you ever been in a car accident? Knock on wood if you haven't.
Again, I picked this question because I have when I was 3, and I didn't break anything, but I screamed all of the way to the hospital, and I was very lucky.
So you remember it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. Millennium Falcon wants to know, what do you want to say to all your diamonds?
Again, I picked this question because I just want to say thank you very, very much. It's very hard to say thank you to like a huge amount of people and it be genuine, but I hope that you feel it because you enable me to do what I want to do and you give me a lot of freedom. So that's why it's really important to support your favorite artists, and that's what I was always like as a kid as well. It was more, I was very attached to that person, for example, Fiona Apple or PJ Harvey. I loved their music, but I also loved them, and I wanted to support them. So I get that fan interaction, and I get why people feel a certain way. So I just want to say I understand you, and thank you very much for it.
And no illegally downloading her music. Go and buy it on iTunes.
Please do if you can. Some people don't have, the money to do it. But if you do, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and they can just watch your music videos on YouTube if they can't.
I'll get a whole 0.00001%.
Okay, Selenial wants to know, were you afraid of what people were going to think about Froot?
No. Actually, I didn't even factor in people's opinions when I was writing it. I was just writing it because I needed to write an album like this.
Good. Insert O sound wants you to imitate an emoji.
Is it the monkey one?
I don't know, it's not showing up. Do you
Hi,
have a
what's the
favorite
other one?
emoji?
What?
Do you have a
Do I
favorite
have a favorite
emoji?
one? Hell yes. It's usually the crying with laughter one. That's my most overused for sure. But I also like the sparkle one, the kind of glitter.
Oh,
Yeah. What's your favorite emoji?
I always use the super happy one with the eyes like this, and the confetti thing. I don't know why. I always use those together. It's so weird. Ooh, okay. So Team Captain wants to know, when can we expect the Nylon Mag feature to come out?
I think this will be April, and it's super cool. Like the teaser that I posted didn't really show any of what we're gonna do, but it's one of my favorite shoots that I've done in a very long time.
Ooh, looking forward to it then. Okay. Evan Kasim wants to know, what is the story behind Savages?
So this is one of the questions that kept coming up actually. Story about Savages. Well, it started when I was reading an article about the Boston bombings, and the journalist had said it's so hard to reconcile how one man can be running for charity to save people's lives while another man is making a bomb to blow these people up.
Yeah.
And it just made me, at the time I was like seeing, the news and kind of noticing how, things like rape stories and huge misogyny were very, very prominent and coming out every single day, another gang rape, another, bombing, some kind of horrible terrorist plot. And, just as opposed to having a kind of gut moral reaction to those stories, it was more thinking about why humans are wired the way that we are. For example, with rape, this isn't a particularly new practice. This has been going on, I'm sure, since the beginning of man and woman, unfortunately. And it's such a horrendous thing to have to deal with as a society, and most of us will never do that. However, it is something that is in us. And so in the news, what I notice is that people are condemning it, and they're saying, you have to punish this person, which is absolutely right. However, no one's really questioning, why is that trait embedded in us? And so, that's what I wanted to write the song about. It's more about having to acknowledge and accept that there are certain things about humanity and about human beings that that are natural, but that are negative. And I don't have a solution, but I wrote a song about it.
Oh my gosh. I think that's so cool. I like it when artists like actually have like meaning and like a story behind their songs instead of just random lyrics. So
Yeah.
I think that's why I like you so much, is because your lyrics are so awesome and like deep, and you can tell that there's a real story behind them. So that's
Thank
really
you.
cool.
Thank
Of
you.
course. Um, Stangelo asks, what was the hardest thing you came across in making a fruit?
I think the hardest thing was in the beginning, and it was to do with confidence, having the confidence to say that I wanted to write this album on my own. Because there were a few conversations, namely from my A&R and from somebody at my label, who were like, you've built this amazing thing with Electra Heart, and like you're really on kind of the tipping point to break. And I guess in a way I still am, but I wouldn't say that I've broken all over the world. And so it was a very important conversation to have with them, that maybe I'm not meant to do that, and maybe I wasn't meant to be this big pop star, that actually my space in that cultural landscape is as an anomaly, and that's okay. So it was more about making an album that was truthful and was, just representative of who I am now. So that was probably the hardest thing, communicating that. But, I did it, and they understood, and they've supported me.
Well, that's good. You think that it'll be easier moving forward to be able to still maintain control?
Yeah, definitely. There's no going back now.
Okay, good.
Um, and I'm happy.
Good.
Yeah.
Um, Marina's baby, and didn't know if you knew who your baby was. What is the greatest thing you ever achieved in your life so far?
Such a funny question. Such a funny question. Because depends what you think achievement is, but for me, it's being able to give my mum and dad the kind of what I want to give them, which is stability and my time, and yeah, I think that's the most important thing for me. It's not really about accolades and about awards and all of that kind of thing. That's never actually really been a huge motivation for me. At least not in a deep sense. So I think it's more about personal life than like the normal kind of achievements.
Yeah, well, that's cool. I like that. Um, was it, I think this is from your baby again. She says, was it hard to make the decision to push fruit? Um, was it hard to make the decision to push fruit ahead of time because of the leak? Uh-oh.
The leak. It it wasn't too hard a decision. I think people don't really want to discuss leaks usually, because it's like, shh, make sure, just know that it didn't happen. But for me, I'm just like, well, we're living in a digital age, and no campaign actually ever goes smoothly, because
Yeah.
campaigns are highly orchestrated, very stressful affairs, and they're highly satisfying. But it's kind of like a rocky road. Things happen. So when a problem occurs, the best thing that you can do is make a calm decision about it. And actually, when the leak happened, other things were going on in my life. Something with my family had happened, so I really didn't give a shit that it leaked. I was just like, there are other things that are way more important. And so we kind of made a decision, me, my manager, Jess, and I feel happy about it. I was like, well, it's being put forward 3 weeks. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
So it was all right.
Well, we definitely liked it, so.
Thank you.
Um, okay. A Bangkianji wants to know, would you like to be the woman which you sang in Primadonna Girl?
Would I like to? Kind of, but not really. Like, I feel like Electra Heart was actually, I'll tell you something about Electra Heart. What I was really inspired by and what I was obsessed with at the time was capturing the zeitgeist and how pop music does that. It kind of, it mirrors society or, whatever is going on at the time. So for me, Electra Heart was an indication of kind of how women are represented, and so I was kind of like playing these different characters in order to reflect that, because that's what I was interested in at the time, and that's what I saw. I suppose sorry, my generation, the generation below me, be interested in. So I probably wouldn't want to be the girl in Prima Donna, but it's fun sometimes to act like that.
Do you miss the blonde hair at all?
Uh, Not really. Not the mechanics of it, the logistics. But I
Yeah.
love I love the visual that we created, so it's cool to have. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, oh, okay. And some blah blah wants to know, what are your thoughts about Nicki Minaj?
I picked this question because um, actually I don't want people to get the wrong impression. I did do a tweet about her once, and I said Nicki Minaj is unbearable, and the thing is that I did mean that at the time, but I was lying on my sofa and I was watching American Idol, and she was being so mean to Mariah Carey. I don't know why, but maybe they just didn't get on, and so that's why I tweeted it. But I do like Nicki Minaj, and I like some of her music, so I hope that clears it up.
Okay, Marina Del Hart wants to know, who inspires you to keep singing?
Hmm. I think it's not a case of who, it's a case of what. And this is why sometimes I say, I don't know how long I will do this for. Um, I certainly don't have a desire to do this forever because of kind of ego reasons. It's more, do I have something to sing about? And if I don't, then I won't do this, I wouldn't have this as a profession. I don't think that will ever be the case, but
Okay.
but yeah, that's why I sing, not because I'm a good singer, or actually because it, like makes me feel free or like, alive. It's more I like writing lyrics, and I like the idea that you can use music as a vehicle to express larger ideas about life and what it is to be a man or a woman, a girl or a boy. So yeah.
Well, you scared all of us a little bit when you said you might not be singing forever, but we understand. Okay, so Chrono Lady is, so I'm guessing from the Can't Pin Me Down lyrics that you don't consider yourself a feminist. Am I right?
Yeah, this is a weird question. I guess it's a bit of a contrary line. Well, of course I do. I do. Um, I wrote that lyric because it's actually less to do with feminism, but more about being pigeonholed. And so I'm kind of playing with the listener in that I'm saying, like, basically, you're trying to second guess me all the time. And perhaps your perceptions of me are wrong. So it's more about being pigeonholed than actually a
Hmm.
commentary on feminism itself.
Okay. Um, Blue Savages wants to know, when is the Clean Bandit collab coming?
Um, I don't know. I heard it the other day and I really like it. So sometime in the future.
Okay. Um, Yagmer Mathers asks, have you ever been in a bad mood when a fan recognized you, and how did you act, like trying to be nice or ignoring it?
This makes me laugh. Yes, it has happened a few times, literally maybe twice in my life. And I'm really sorry to the fan out there, but they were just like, Marina, and I just didn't turn around. I just walked really, really quickly away.
Yeah.
And the reason was because I looked like shit. I like didn't have any makeup on or anything, and I was in a park,
Well, you could be
so I
rushing to
wasn't
the
really in the
toilet.
mood.
I mean,
I wasn't in the mood for
who
speaking.
knows?
But even if someone actually came up to my face and was like, Marina, how are you? Of course I would talk to them even if I was in a bad mood, but I'd just keep it like super short.
Yeah. Isa Monterio asks, can you pick one song from each of your album that describes your life? Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh my gosh. Um, yes, I would say from the Family Jewels, I'm Not a Robot. From Electra Heart, hmm, maybe, I don't know. Oh, this is really hard. I, I can't, I'm kind of tempted to say Fear and Loathing, maybe.
Okay.
And then from Fruit, Happy, for sure.
Oh, I love that song. That one's definitely my favorite on the new album. Um, oh, Sarah asks, have you been doing things you shouldn't do?
Yeah, well, actually, that the lyric in that song, I'm a Ruin, sounds like I've been naughty, but I really haven't. I was actually really worried when the song came out. I thought, I hope people don't think like I cheated on my boyfriend or something, because I would never do that. Never
Yeah,
done that to anyone.
that's good.
So I wanted to clear that up and say that it more alludes to the fact that I actually felt so guilty even writing songs about this person, um, because it just felt really wrong. But hey, I chose this profession. I chose to songwrite. That's the price that I have to pay.
Yeah. Um, Max Chaparro says, hi Marina, how are you? My question is, if Savages is one of your faves, why doesn't I think he's maybe not from this country. Why isn't it a fruit of the month? I think that it's one of your best songs, Love You.
Because the way in which I picked Fruit of the Months wasn't just like I think that this is the best, or I think this is pop, or this is my favorite. It was more, what do I want people to hear in the first 6 months from the record? And also, I wanted to be careful to not kind of put out all of my favorite songs. So you have to balance it out. And certainly off the stuff that wasn't released in the Fruit of the Months, Better Than That, Savages, those are two, and Can't Put Me Down. They're like very, very close to me, and three of my favorite songs on the record. And I wanted them to be saved so that people got a nice treat when it came out.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm.
Um, Alessandro Fioricititi says, what was your perspective on life when you were 20?
When I was 20, it wasn't very good, to be honest. It was extremely narrow-minded and very black and white. It's very extreme. But perhaps that's what it's just like to be 20.
Yeah.
Not really sure. Um, Tweet me the answer to that, please, if you feel the same. But my perspective on life was, yeah, it was just very extreme, very up and down. Like sometimes I felt like everything was absolutely incredible, and then other times I just wanted to die. So again, I think that might be a kind of teenage to adulthood thing.
Was it just
So
age that changed that perspective?
what's that?
Was it like just growing up that changed that, or was there something in particular that made your mind change of seeing life that way?
I think circumstances. So which is kind of unfortunate, because if it's because of things that happen as opposed to like how you are actually feeling and how you've worked things out in your head, it's not as permanent a change. So for me, having my music become successful and getting signed and stuff, that changed perspective because it gave me stability. But actually, until like a year and a half ago, that I kind of hadn't changed perspective that much, and that's why I took a year out, because I just needed to be at home.
Yeah.
So I think I can hear that we don't really have any time left. So just one last question.
One more question. Okay.
I know these go so quickly.
I need to pick a good one. Okay, so would you ever consider writing for another artist, or is songwriting something that you do for a personal?
Good question. Yes, I would consider that. But so far, I mean, I have done a few sessions, literally 2, and it's very hard to remove yourself from, okay, I'm writing this for another person, because the only reason that I've ever written is because I needed to express something. So I think I could in the future, but it might be a case of I wrote a song for myself, or just wrote it, and it wasn't quite right for me in the end, or I don't know, I just didn't want to put it out. So I would gift that song to another artist. But you never know. I think going forward after Froot, I'm not actually really focusing on doing a 4th record. I'm more interested in doing mini projects, so doing activities that have emphasis on craft as opposed to like, the whole like promo wheel, whatever thing. I just want to, write with people who I'm really inspired by. So I'm up for collaborating, but in terms of writing specifically, don't know yet. We'll see.
Okay. Well, I guess that was the last question. So
Yes. Thank you so much.
yeah, of course, this was so fun. I'm so glad I got to be the person to ask you these questions. This was really cool.
Absolutely. And thank you to everybody out there. Yeah, I'll see you soon for another FAQin episode in a few months.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Do I go now? Bye.
Oh, awesome.